you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. All right, hey everybody, welcome to the Roundtable. It's me, Robert Bannon, and this is a special lunchtime edition once again because I have the absolute honor and pleasure to talk to Ace Young. Ace Young was on with us during the quarantine with his amazing, lovely wife, Diana, and I was so excited to see him back in New York City. Talk about a deviation from what we expect from Ace. This is not Grease. This is not Hair. This is not father figure on American Idol. This is a real serious, deep issue that is going to touch and move a lot of people. Ace Young is here. Welcome back, Ace.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you, Robert. I love having lunch with you, man.
You can have lunch anytime. I'm trying to be in your shape. I have a sad little yogurt. I'm like, man, I need some protein powder when Ace is on. I need to let's go.
Pump it up.
Pump it up.
For me, I'm running so fast, especially with this show, that I can't even eat enough. I'm just trying to get enough fuel in me. It's like when I was Burger and I literally would go from a matinee to eating 2 Chipotle burritos and then going back to the night show. It's just, there's a lot happening. So this show has a lot of that energy. I get to go through all the emotions that I've ever been through in my entire life within 2 hours. And it is, I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster, but it's a beautiful, beautiful story. And Frank Giavella wrote the most amazing script, and that's why I'm here in the first place.
Well, I was going to say, Frank wrote this. He directed it along with Carlotta and put together this. If you're a New York theater person or if you're traveling to New York, some of the greatest theater is done downtown or outside of Times Square. If you want to see original works that are powerful, that are moving, no shade to the movie remakes, but if you want to see something that is real deep and serious, the Tank has been putting on artistic pieces of work for decades. It's one of the most legendary places to see art. How did this show come to you?
Interesting. This show actually came to me in a way that I never thought I would be doing my first off-Broadway play in the way that this came. I was in Chicago with my wife, and we were doing a brand new show that we were working on pre-COVID, and it had some ups and downs. It had some push and pull issues that we were dealing with, and we were trying to work out. We were getting through our 2 months performing, where we had our 8 show weeks, and on Pride Day, I was doing my last day of performances, getting ready to go home and take care of my body, no longer wearing these fictitious 5-inch heel moon boots that look like roller skates with felt on the bottom, and I'm doing moonwalking all over the stage as choreography of looking like I'm in roller skates. Well, my last go, I get this big move where I'm kind of whiplashed. I get the momentum from another member, and he sits down so I can take the momentum and slide all the way across the stage. Well, while I do, my right foot caught some of the brake marks in the middle of the stage, and this is the last day. I've done this 8 shows a week for 2 months. Last day, and I'm going forward singing my big bully number to the guy I'm going towards, and my foot buckled under me so quick that all I saw was white, and I heard pop, and I went down, and I stood up. The second verse started, and my mouth was actually going. It was actually saying what the words were, and I was like, whoa, okay. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep saying it. Maybe I really twisted my ankle. I get through the number. I stay out of the way of all the choreography coming with everybody else. I get off the stage, and I zip my boot to take my shoe off while mom and dad are singing this beautiful ballad on stage. I yelled so loud when I pulled my boot off because I felt a new joint in my foot that I had never felt before. In 40 years, I had never felt my foot do this. And my whole foot went limp, and I pulled the boot off, and I screamed, and the band stopped. I was in my first ambulance ride, and I went to the hospital and sat there for 9 hours on Pride Day, seeing everybody who had a beautiful rainbow on their leg, but a bloody head because they bumped their head on something. I saw COVID beds sitting all the way through the hallway with people passed out. I was there for 9 hours while my wife went and did the final show without me. And we didn't even know if it was going to be able to get through it with the understudy. He had never done the whole show. So I literally am sitting there. They give me a boot and an x-ray, and it turns out I completely broke the 5th metatarsal bone right under my ankle that connects your pinky toe. But I did it right underneath the ankle. So my whole foot turned under. And when my ankle went down, it just popped everything. And everybody on stage heard the bone snap. So it was sitting next to itself. So now I'm flying home in the next morning. I know this is a long story, but there's a good payoff. So I'm flying home the next morning. Diana, my wife, she literally carries 7 bags that are 50 pounds, and she loads them She carries my ass and she loads me. We get home. I sit down, and for 2 weeks, I'm trying to figure out what the physical therapy is, because I did a show in Chicago. I got hurt on stage. I am working for a company that's in New York, and I live in Nashville. They didn't know how to send me to a doctor, let alone how to do the paperwork to even figure out what the hell happened. So it took 2 weeks of me sitting in bed. It took 7 weeks of me sitting in bed before I could stand. I couldn't even stand, because every time I would put weight on it, the bone would just separate. So I just felt like there was a knife through my foot. Well, during that time, my agents, they literally called and they said, hey, I got 2 options. I got this TV show where you might be a regular, and I have this play. Which ones are you interested in? And for them, I know they wanted the TV show because they get a cut of what you make. Well, the play didn't make anything. So they were like, which one would you like to do? I read the score of the play, and I legit said, guys, I will audition for both, but I want you to know I want to do this play. It took me 4 days to just be able to say the words in the scene that I had to audition for the play, because it hurt so much to say. And when I read the whole script all the way through, Frank J. Avella wrote something that not a reader. I'm not a reader. I literally saw the movie on first read. So I knew this is where I was supposed to go. I didn't know how much of it I was going to, transpose and go through personally while I got to this point. But I knew I was supposed to be there. So I sent in an audition tape. I had a 7-minute scene. I had 3 other scenes. I had to record those in a 1 take. And I sent it, and I just hoped. I was like, maybe that'll do it. I get a call back 2 weeks later. I buy a flight. I fly into New York in the morning. I walk in the room. I now have to do those 4 scenes in one go with the whole company there. So now I'm sitting there going, okay, I got this. It's in my brain. I can do this. I got this. But I don't want to feel the anxiety. I want to be the part. So I literally had to shed myself just to go in the room in the first place, to be this person. And once I got through it, they said, thank you so much. And I left. And I was the first one in. So I didn't know if I got it. All I knew is I was going to go get my favorite meal in New York at Tre Calori, get my chicken parm. And I was going to go right to the airport so I could see my wife when I get home. So I literally had a 1 day in New York, and I went home not knowing what's going to happen. Well, 3 days later, I get a call, and it's from the agents. And they said, hey, you got it. And I instantly went, oh, man, I have a lot to learn, because this show has me in over 50 scenes. So as a guy who does a guest star on Bones, they had me in 3. I got to sing 2 songs. I didn't have much material. Even in Hair, I only did my numbers, and then I was a camaraderie builder. I wasn't like the thing that was the backbone that everyone came in and did their monologue with. It was a lot. And my brain literally went, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't have given it to me if I wasn't able to actually put this in my brain. So I started learning, and I read the whole thing. And then I got here, and I realized there is so much more that I have been through personally that I need to help other people with. And there's so much that you don't know about me. Like, everybody looks at me on Idol and they think he's a white guy from Colorado. He was outside probably skiing, snowboarding. He has 4 older brothers that are giants. So he's an athlete. So he's physically capable. He can sing. He can write. Man, this guy can do anything. He's got an easy life. What they don't know is I was a poor kid. I lived in 13 different houses by the time I was a freshman in high school, because my parents were renting. And yes, we had big boys, but we also put big holes in walls. I learned how to spackle the wall because my head went into it when I was 7. I tried to fix it before my parents got home. I broke every bone in my body nearly already, just by doing the things that the scrappy 5th son does. And I've literally had my face ripped off while I was skiing, had a guy ski over it when I was 7, had 136 stitches that put it back together. I've had my collarbone ripped out. I can grab it like a rock climbing wall. I've broken wrists twice. I've beat my body up. So now that I have this broken foot, I'm on week 20 right now of a broken foot, where I couldn't even walk 13 weeks ago. I've been literally learning how to stand and walk. I'm not allowed to run until the end of January. But this show allowed me to focus on things that I didn't know I had to talk about. For me, I've been suicidal and depressed twice in my life. I literally almost took my own life twice. First time was to make my parents proud. I wanted to go to the highest level of heaven. Their religion believed when you're 8 and you get baptized, there's 3 levels. But if you die before you're 8, you're automatically in. So I was sitting there at 7 going, how am I going to do this? I'm going to make mom so proud. I'll just be at the gate waiting for her when she comes. And I'll be like, hey, I did it. You're here. And then 8 happened. And I then had shame. I had doubt. I didn't have the strength to actually do the thing I was planning on doing because I didn't feel valuable enough for them to take care of my body if they found it. So I was below suicide, and I had to get through it to get to value and love, self-love, to now get to loving everyone and everything. I was 7, and from 8 to 16, I'm going to church supporting my mom, and every day they're asking me if I want to get baptized. And I said, no, I don't feel I want to be with this group every single day of my eternity if I'm not comfortable now, and my brothers that were baptized aren't going anymore. So why would I do this promise and dip myself under the water? Well, every day I went, I felt like my black friend that was told he's black every time he got to school, but it's okay. Literally, they were like, are you going to get baptized? No. Well, that's okay. Next day, are you going to get baptized? No. Well, that's okay. When I got to 16, I literally had already now gone through suicide and depression twice. At 13, all my brothers went to college. My house that was packed with people was empty and quiet. And I had no value, no purpose, no identity. I could just do everything. I was capable, but I had nothing on the inside. I had nothing to say. I had nothing to exist for. So I went through it again. And by the time I was 16, I sat in sacrament. And then I went to the bishop's room right after that because he sat me down and said, hey, all your friends that you grew up with, since you've been in diapers, the one that you got your Eagle Scout with, they're going to go to this class after sacrament where they can because they're baptized because they hold the priesthood. But you can't. Do you want to get baptized now? And I said, no, thank you for 16 years. I shook his hand and I left because that was what I was supposed to do. My mom no longer needed me. She wasn't going to argue with my dad anymore on Saturday and ruin my 2-day weekend. So I was like, she doesn't need me. I'll be here at Christmas in the sacrament. I did my 3.5 hours every week. I did my 1.5 hours after when my mom was doing choir practice, and I've done my time. So I think I'm good. And it was hard for me, but to go through those experiences and then realize, man, I almost left this place twice by choice. And the only reason I almost did it was because when I was 5, I legit drowned. And I did it with my brother not next to me. I went to a pool. We were on a vacation. I had a little inner tube that he got me, and I was super excited. I threw it in the water, and there was no one at the pool. I dove in head first. My feet were stuck in the air, and I couldn't turn over. I was 5 years old. I'm sitting there trying to bob, trying to get myself to flip up while I'm looking down with my eyes open, and water's flushing in my nose, and I can't get out. I'm helpless. There's no one there. I literally saw the tunnel of vision just start vibrating. And I just kept saying to myself, don't open your mouth. You're going to be gone, bro. And I'm 5 years old looking for somebody just to be around the pool to hear me. And my head's coming out of the water and I'm going, ow, and I've got nothing. And then right at the very last moment, I saw a motion of something real slow way down below me going outside of the glass wall at this hotel. And it was speeding up, but I left. I literally just went to black and it didn't hurt. It was me leaving my body. I woke up minutes later on the side of the pool and my 6'7" brother was the one that saved me. He is the one that somehow at 9 years old got the water out of my body and brought me back. So literally, like, death isn't scary. It didn't hurt. It got rid of the physical pain in my body. So when I was 7, I was just thinking, what do I want to do to get there? It was fucked up, man, but it was real. And this show allows me to take you on a physical journey. I legit, as a survivor, get to take you through a ride where my heart rate is 38 beats per minute for a reason. It's because I, in 2.5 hours, am going to go through every emotion. I'm going to take you to the gate, and I'm not going to jump over it this time. And I'm going to walk you right to it and show you what it looks like. And we're going to look at the view together. And then we're going to say, hey, how about we stick around for another 40 and help other people shine and get some purpose in this life? Give each other hugs and let you know that you matter. And if we just audibly talk about the thing that happened, it's real and it's a backpack and we can let it go and realize what you've become today. Realize that I'm a 41-year-old man turning 42 on the 15th and I got all the capabilities and a broken foot. But it's like, I got it. I got this. This is me. But unless you let go of this trauma that your body has held on to, you're never past the age the trauma happened. Frank J. Avella made that possible for me.
That's a whole ass word, Ace. Like that is an absolute, and we all carry around these suitcases of baggage and trauma that so many people are unafraid to unpack, and then it manifests itself in other ways that we cope in unhealthy ways. But art is an outlet, and art is an outlet to and a good artist like you, it's introspective. The work is inside, and then it comes on from the outside. To tie this together, firstly, religion, this show, I'm an Italian-Irish Catholic from Jersey. I grew up in Catholic churches with all the sacraments of Catholic churches, devoutly Italian grandmother who, the Last Supper and the Pope and all of that was in our dining room. And then to see the hate that and some, the casting out that sometimes religion can use, and it uses God as a way to say, this is okay and this isn't. And there's a lot of dark shadows in the Catholic religion as we have come to light.
Oh, yeah.
Vatican Falls is something that comes and it is hitting it head on and tackling it head on. We all have, I know people who have shared their stories about growing up in the church. You tackle a really serious, deep issue. If you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about what Vatican Falls is about?
Most definitely. Vatican Falls is a thrilling love story between my character, Ricardo, and a Vatican operative that Claudia plays. Claudia is the character name. Carlotta is the person that plays the character, and she's a co-director with Frank. She is phenomenal. She is incredible. This play, it shows you true stories of survivors of the sexual abuse scandal that happened in the Catholic Church. But this is not a way where we're trying to throw it at you. We're not trying to make you feel bad about it. This is the AA meeting, so to speak, where you actually have a place, you have a foundation to speak it and make it real, where everybody gets to speak their part. And at the same time, we're jumping time from memories from my character where I'm 13, I'm 17, and I'm 40. And I'm literally jumping around and I'm showing you all the things that I'm going through during those moments. And you're hearing some of the most unbelievable stories from grown-ass men that they've been holding on to for 30 years. And they haven't been able to say it because they haven't been in a room where they could say it and not get crucified, not get disowned by their parents. These are people that were legit paid by the church to go, shh, and they never got to say it. So that just means it was never real, which then means when they said to their parents, hey, this happened. That's why that bank account has that money. The family said, we don't want to talk about it. And then if you keep bringing it up again, they go, no, you should probably move out. You should probably go do something else. Then all of a sudden you have somebody who has money with no purpose, no value. And that's a scary place to be. Yeah. If you have money that you feel guilty of having in the first place and you have no purpose, whoo, man, that is a life that you don't even feel you're allowed to afford. That is a terrible place to be. This play hits it head on, and it takes it where I feel that the Catholic Church needs to make a movie of the thing to show to all their people, because a lot of people aren't going to church anymore. Right. They're not going because they don't feel the safety that a church is supposed to provide. Now, if the Catholic Church just said, hey, listen, this is real. This really happened. These people were paid out. We want you to know that we know it's real, so we never let it happen again. So these people that are doing it can't keep going under the radar like it's not a real thing, and they get your son, and they get your daughter, and they get your cousin, or your niece, or your brother, or your sister, or your mom to drink, so that she is totally out of it, so then they can pounce. Like, this is a real thing, and if we bring it up, all the wolves have to literally show their face, and the church is the only place that can get rid of the wolves. They can literally make them do what they have to do. They can talk about it. They can make those people have to live with the words that they've made their other people live with, and they can then say, we're never going to let this happen again, and it will be a better thing for the church. I did a couple years in the Catholic Church, almost married a Catholic girl. That's why I was there. I literally learned everything about the church. My favorite thing was that it was 45 minutes long because I was used to going to church for 4 hours. And then we could go drink. I was like, wait a second. I am confused. I couldn't even have caffeine, couldn't have chocolate. Wait a second. That's bourbon? This is nice. Like, it was very comforting and very grown up. But there's still a system that has to be right. And the wrong thing about the system right now, the system of church, the wrong thing about the system with life, the system of school, is categories. We, for some reason, want to categorize everything before it tells us what it truly is. I have nephews and nieces trying to tell me what their sexual preference is at 8 years old. They haven't even fallen in love. Their shit doesn't even work yet. They're trying to tell me where their heart wants to go. Bro, we are all sexual until you fall in love. And when you fall in love, you'll figure out how to have sex with that person. I promise. It's not that complicated. It's like creamer. It's creamer and coffee. Do you want the pumpkin version? It's October. Or do you want just like a good old mocha Joe? Like, it's just the decision. It's not what we value ourselves on. And if you value yourself on your actions, you're already empty. You have to be enough for yourself without your spouse. And then with your spouse, you guys are invincible. But you got to love yourself, those insecurities, that thing that you hate. Like, if you hate that you have rosy cheeks when you're a kid because everybody thinks you're bashful, literally, that's a thing that you have to look in the mirror and say, hey, body, I love you, rosy cheeks, because those make me me. I am not a robot. I am not like everybody else. That identifies who I am specifically. If I had a missing finger, I would literally be like, yo, what's up, 4 fingers? That makes me me. And that's a hell of a story. How the hell did you get 4 fingers? Well, the crocodile got one of them. Like, you literally, that's a thing that identifies you specifically. It's not something to be ashamed of. Your body already tried to create exactly what it could as a small little entity in a belly to survive on the world it thought was outside.
Yeah.
You have created you. You got to celebrate you. You got to love you. And at that moment that you truly do all the things that you hate, you could literally, once you truly love, you can love everyone, no matter what they do. Now it's up to them to do the right things, but you have to show the love you have in yourself so they can potentially learn from example.
Agree, absolutely. And that's what the art and the work that you're doing, and giving a lot of closure and peace to a lot of survivors and to a lot of people who the numbers are underreported. There's a lot of people who have repressed memories or are afraid to come out and speak about it. And it's through art and the work of an artist and the hard work that you guys are doing on stage and speaking out about this that's going to free a lot of people. I have my tickets. I'm going to be there next week.
Yes.
I'm sweating already. I'm nervous. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be deep. No, it's going to be.
Come and enjoy. I'm going to go through the emotions so you don't have to. I'm literally going to take the beating. All you have to do is just be there with me and just watch.
We will.
That's all you got to do. And this is a hard thing for us because no one wants to talk about this.
Yeah.
I literally, when I started, I was like, where's my TV interview? They won't do it. No one will talk about it. So I appreciate you, Robert, for even letting us talk. I'm just trying to get people in, paying a $25 ticket. I'm doing a play for free so that I can speak my piece, so I can build my facilities for people that are going through suicide and depression. I want to build a charity here in New York. So if I can't carry you through to the light, I can give you a card that's an ACE card. And you can walk in and they can just say, hey, you've been in a Groundhog Day for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Let's figure out why. And we can learn how to love ourselves. And then if you're too afraid to leave, you can stay and help the next person that comes in. Like, that's what I want to do. This has nothing to do with money. This has to do with self-love, preservation. This show is intense, but it's intense for me, not for you. You just have to watch it and go through the emotions. I'm not going to ask you if you're believing me because I'm already in it.
No, and
I am there.
And that's what I'm excited to. No, I'm excited. I'm really excited to be there. And anything that you need, and Diana, I love her. Diana, you got the work that you are, the example that you are, the art that you put out in the world, and how you operate in this world is something really, really beautiful. And I am so excited to see you showing all of the different sides and emotions and colors that is you, that we don't always get to see with just music or with, releasing music in concert, to see the many sides and skill set that you have. I'll be there. If you want tickets, everyone watching, you just go to thetanknyc.org and you get your tickets. If you want to follow Ace and find more information about Ace, you can go to Instagram. You can follow him at Ace Young. And the show is Vatican Falls. It's playing. It's out. It just opened this week. Go see it. It's a story they didn't want told. It's at the Tank in New York City. And hopefully it has a long life and career after this run, and will continue to change lives and to share this story. You are such a pleasure. I always have such a great time with you. Thank you so much,
Robert.
For lunch with me.
Thank you. Oh, anytime, man. And when you do come, I would love to give you a big hug after. And if anybody that comes is triggered, I would love for them to wait for me in the lobby, because I'll bring you back. Just wait for me so I can look you in the eyes and we can talk, because I've already been through it. So if you've been through it, we can meet on a reel, and we can leave and be light and love, and we will only be stronger together. So please come to Vatican Falls and just enjoy taking the experience, but leave with the love that I'm giving you.
That's beautiful. You're so beautiful. You guys you're so beautiful. Thank you. And I'll see you next week. I will be in the lobby, and I'll be ready for that hug, and I'll be ready to talk all about it. And
can't wait, brother. Thank you so much.
Send love home, and thank you for being here.